My name is Gauri Ghate, and today we'll be covering a very important topic of GK and current affairs, which is the Nuclear Suppliers Group or the NSG, India's nuclear policy so far, and the recent introduction of the Shanti Bill. So let's begin. So what exactly is nuclear energy? Nuclear energy is the energy produced when a radioactive substance's nucleus fissions itself into smaller parts, releasing huge amounts of energy. When this energy is harnessed, it can be used for various purposes, broadly categorizing these purposes into civilian use, जिससे हम usually clean energy produce करते हैं, and the second one is of course defense. Now, where did this journey of nuclear energy begin? We all know that it began in the United States of America, and very slowly and steadily this energy proliferated its way throughout the world, where at present we have 9 countries that have nuclear warheads. These are the 9 countries that at present have nuclear warheads. We have the United States of America, we have the United Kingdom, France, Israel, Pakistan, Russia, China, North Korea, and India. World's 90% of nuclear states, world's 90% of nuclear warheads belong to Russia and United States of America. United States of America was responsible for spreading of nuclear energy warheads to all of these other countries except for India. India has developed its own nuclear energy. India has developed its own testing facilities, nuclear reactors, and the journey of India's nuclear energy has so far been completely independent of the United States. No other country in the world has managed to do that so far. Which is why India's first nuclear test in 1974, the Pokhran 1, triggered the formation of a very unique geopolitical and multilateral organization, which is called the NSG, the Nuclear Suppliers Group. So let's study what NSG is. NSG or the Nuclear Supplier Group is a multilateral export control regime. Multilateral का क्या मतलब है? Unilateral मतलब एक तरफ से, bilateral मतलब where 2 parties are involved, and multilateral means there are multiple parties involved. So the NSG involves multiple parties, and what is its purpose? इसका purpose है nuclear supplier countries के थ्रू एक export control regime बनाना है. किस चीज के एक्सपोर्ट को कंट्रोल करना है या किस चीज के एक्सपोर्ट को रेगुलेट करना है? न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी के एक्सपोर्ट को रेगुलेट करना है. ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है? टू प्रिवेंट न्यूक्लियर वेपन्स प्रोलिफरेशन. प्रोलिफरेशन मतलब क्या होता है? प्रोलिफरेशन मतलब होता है फैलना. तो न्यूक्लियर वेपन्स के प्रोलिफरेशन को प्रिवेंट करने के लिए एनएसजी बनाया गया. क्या क्या रेगुलेट होता है उसके एक्सपोर्ट में? न्यूक्लियर मटेरियल्स, न्यूक्लियर इक्विपमेंट जैसे रिएक्टर्स, न्यूक्लियर मटेरियल जैसे यूरेनियम, थोरियम, न्यूक्लियर इक्विपमेंट जैसे न्यूक्लियर रिएक्टर्स, और न्यूक्लियर रिलेटेड टेक्नोलॉजी जैसे हाउ टू रन दोस रिएक्टर्स, हाउ टू सेट अप न्यूक्लियर पावर प्लांट्स एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा. तो इन सब के एक्सपोर्ट्स को रेगुलेट कौन करता है? एनएसजी करता है इन सब के एक्सपोर्ट्स को रेगुलेट. फर्दर ऑन, एनएसजी ऑपरेट्स थ्रू implementation of 2 sets of export control guidelines applicable to nuclear and nuclear related exports. So not just nuclear exports, nuclear related exports जैसे nuclear technology या nuclear equipments जैसे हमने पहले देखा. It complements existing non-proliferation mechanisms by promoting responsible nuclear trade. Nuclear trade में responsibility का क्या factor है? Well, we need to understand that when we deal with nuclear technology, when we deal with nuclear energy, after 1945 of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, we know that the capacity of destruction that nuclear energy has is immense. इस कैपेसिटी ऑफ डिस्ट्रक्शन को हम अगर यूज कर रहे हैं किसी सिविलियन पर्पस के लिए या हमारे डिफेंस पर्पसेस के लिए, वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड एंड वी नीड टू बी रिस्पॉन्सिबल इनफ in using this technology so as to avoid any form of harm via this. What are the how did it originate? It was established in response to India's first nuclear test in 1974, which is what we call the Smiling Buddha. It demonstrated the dual use and potential of civilian nuclear technology. What happened next? The group first met in 1945, 1975, 1974 में स्माइलिंग बुद्धा न्यूक्लियर टेस्ट हमने किया. क्या होता है कि when you test your nuclear energy, when you test a nuclear weapon, you show to, it's a show to the world that okay, knock knock, hello world, now we have nuclear power as well. क्या implications होती है न्यूक्लियर पावर डेवलप होने की? आप एक बहुत सिक्योर सर्कल में आ जाते हो. Every country will think twice before invading your sovereignty. Additionally, you can use this nuclear power for civilian purposes, which is energy production. It also has certain medical uses. So after 1974, when the countries that were existing nuclear powers, when they realized that India and the so-called third world countries have also started developing न्यूक्लियर टेक्नोलॉजी, उनको बहुत फिक्र होने लगी बिकॉज उनकी जो मोनोपोली थी न्यूक्लियर टेक्नोलॉजी पे वो खत्म हो गई थी. अब ये मोनोपोली बनाए रखने के लिए क्या तरीका था? एनएसजी में इन्होंने कहा कि 1975 से हम मीटिंग करेंगे. 1975 से 1978 तक इन्होंने बहुत सारी मीटिंग्स की और कुछ गाइडलाइंस पब्लिश हुई IAEA के द्वारा. IAEA क्या है? IAEA is the International Atomic Energy Authority, which is a body that functions under the United Nations. इसने पब्लिश की कुछ गाइडलाइंस under the name of INFC IRC/245 based on the Zanger Committee's trigger list. उन्हें एक ट्रिगर लिस्ट इंट्रोड्यूस की जिसमें न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी से रिलेटेड इंफ्रैक्शंस जो होते हैं वो उन्हें इंक्लूड किए, फॉलोड बाय exports of listed items required application of IAEA safeguards and justification under exceptional safety related circumstances. So basically what they wanted to say was nuclear energy और उसका trade, उसका proliferation will all be controlled by this one body that is now called the NSG. कैसे बनते हैं NSG के member? It began with 7 participating governments: Canada, West Germany, France, Japan, Soviet Union, UK and the US. Membership was later expanded to 15 countries by 1977 और उसके बाद और 1990 में और countries इसके member बने. Political changes that affected membership: जब German reunification हुआ, basically जब Berlin Wall गिरी तो East Germany, West Germany बचा नहीं, it was Germany overall. तो membership change हुई. जब चेकोस्लोवाकिया का डिवीजन चेक रिपब्लिक और स्लोवाकिया में हुआ 1993 में, अगेन 1 से 2 मेंबर हो गए. तो ऐसे चेंजेस से फाइनली in 2004 China also joined the NSG, and the European Commission and the Zanger Committee participate as observers in this. Current membership has 48. This is important. Remember, it started with 7. The current membership is 48. And who was serving as the chair of NSG of 2024-2025? South Africa, which means South Africa is also a member nation. Now let's come to NSG के member बनते गए. एक treaty है nuclear non-proliferation treaty. The treaty on the non-proliferation of nuclear weapons, which is the cornerstone of global nuclear non-proliferation regime. जैसा कि मैंने कहा, proliferation मतलब फैलना, non-proliferation मतलब nuclear energy को रोक के रखना एक जगह. It was negotiated between 65 and 68 and opened for signature in 68. It came into force in 1970. ऑब्वियसली इसके बाद 1974 में हमने हमारा न्यूक्लियर टेस्ट सबसे पहला किया, स्माइलिंग बुद्धा। उसके बाद क्या हुआ, in 1995 they decided कि सारी this treaty was extended indefinitely. This will function as a regulating treaty forever is what the members decided. क्या objectives थे? To prevent the spread of nuclear weapons and technology. Another objective was to promote peaceful uses of nuclear energy. Peaceful uses में क्या हो गया, जैसे कि मैंने कहा energy generation हो गया, medical use हो गया, etc. etc. Advanced nuclear disarmament and general disarmament. Advanced nuclear disarmament मतलब nuclear weapons को कम करना है. General disarmament मतलब generally stockpiling of weapons रोकना है, is what the NPT wanted. Now, when you sign an NPT, only then can you become a member of the NSG. Now comes the next question. Has India signed Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty? Let's see. India has not. NPT का structure क्या है? एक preamble है, 11 articles हैं, commonly described as a three-pillar framework. Non-proliferation होना चाहिए, disarmament होना चाहिए, और न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी का यूज सिर्फ पीसफुल ऑब्जेक्टिव्स के लिए होना चाहिए. ट्रीटी डिफाइंस, अब आता है प्रॉब्लमैटिक पार्ट. ट्रीटी ने दो टाइप्स के स्टेट्स को डिफाइन किया है. वन इज द एनडब्ल्यूएस एंड वन इज द एनएनडब्ल्यूएस. एनडब्ल्यूएस इज न्यूक्लियर वेपन स्टेट्स. कौन से होते हैं न्यूक्लियर वेपन स्टेट्स? न्यूक्लियर वेपन स्टेट्स वो होते हैं जिनने 1 जनवरी 1967, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट डेट है ये, 1 जनवरी 1967 के पहले जिन जिन ने अपने न्यूक्लियर वेपन्स टेस्ट कर लिए हैं वो हो गए हैं हमारे न्यूक्लियर वेपन स्टेट. ऐसे कितने स्टेट्स हैं? वी हैव यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स, ऑफ कोर्स वी नो, रशिया और द यूएसएसआर, United Kingdom, France and China. These 5 countries are the only ones who have tested their nuclear weapons before 1 January 1967. उसके बाद अगर आपने न्यूक्लियर टेक्नोलॉजी डेवलप भी कर ली है, उसके बाद आपने अगर टेस्ट भी कर लिया है आपका न्यूक्लियर वेपन, you still will not be counted as a nuclear weapon state. इंडिया ने जब अपना सबसे पहला टेस्ट 1974 में किया, so India is therefore not recognized as one of the nuclear weapon states. India is recognized as a non-nuclear weapon state. All the other signatories are classified as non-nuclear weapon states, even if they have nuclear power. Now, India is not a signatory to this, so therefore it's not recognized as NNWS or NWS. But अगर देखा जाए, तो does India possess all of the abilities to be a nuclear weapon state? Yes, it does. But because of this arbitrary date, it's not counted as a nuclear weapon state, which is also the reason for why it has not signed it. Membership क्या है? As of now, we have 191 states, and North Korea is the only state which has withdrawn from the treaty in 2003, and later on नॉर्थ कोरिया ने भी अपना न्यूक्लियर टेस्ट कंडक्ट किया था. इसके क्या क्रिटिसिजम्स है? अभी तक का लिमिटेड प्रोग्रेस है डिसआर्मामेंट में. अगर ये बहुत अच्छे से फंक्शन कर रही होती, इसका जो वन ऑफ द ऑब्जेक्टिव्स इज टू एम टुवर्ड्स न्यूक्लियर डिसआर्मामेंट, इट्स बीन इन फंक्शन सिंस 1968. It has been decades, पर क्या न्यूक्लियर डिसआर्ममेंट हुआ है? नहीं हुआ है. इनफैक्ट on multiple occasions we've been very close to a nuclear standoff between two nuclear states. Second criticism क्या है? Continued possession of over 13,000 nuclear warheads by the 5 NWS. आप ट्रीटी कहती है कि आप न्यूक्लियर डिसआर्ममेंट करो, लेकिन जो 5 nuclear weapon states हैं, they have almost 13,000 nuclear warheads, which is very unfair. Double standards दिखते हैं उनके. There's also been constraints in preventing civilian nuclear programs from being diverted to weapons use. तो जब हम न्यूक्लियर प्रोग्राम सिविलियन यूज के गार्ड में बनाते हैं और उसकी रिसोर्सेज हम शिफ्ट कर देते हैं वेपन्स यूज के लिए, देयर इज नो वे टू चेक ऑन दैट. फॉलो अप ट्रीटीज हुई हैं इसके बाद, द CTBT or the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, which was signed in 1996, and the Treaty on Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, which was signed in 2017. India has not signed any of these treaties. Coming to the nuclear power capacities of certain countries that we see, as you can see, the entire nuclear reactor animation is the prospective capacity, while the shaded part is the operating capacity. अब आप देखोगे कि हमने शुरू में एक मैप देखा था, उसमें हमें सिर्फ 9 कंट्रीज देखी थी जिनके पास न्यूक्लियर वॉरहेड्स हैं, whereas right here we have South Korea, we have Ukraine, we have Canada, we have Turkey. All of these countries also have nuclear capacities. How is that possible? Because this is the civilian infrastructure जहां यूज होता है न्यूक्लियर पावर जनरेशन के लिए. So China has a total capacity of 118 gigawatt, but it's producing 58 gigawatts currently. India का क्या हाल है? India has a total capacity of 32 gigawatts, out of which we are producing only 8 gigawatts. Okay, moving on. Let's come to the IAEA. IAEA is the International Atomic Energy Agency, which was established in 1957. Its mandate is to promote peaceful use of nuclear energy and prevent its use for military purposes. Two-fold mandate है, peaceful use होना चाहिए nuclear energy का, और उसका जो military purposes का use है उसको कम करना है. IAEA को ये regulation रखना है. It's an autonomous body within the United Nations system. It reports to both UNGA and UN Security Council. Its headquarters is located in Vienna, Austria. Its creation was influenced by Cold War, because Cold War में बहुत ज़्यादा heightened tension चल रहा था, which could have led to a nuclear standoff between USSR and USA. Now let's come to India's refusal to sign the NPT. Why does India refuse to sign NPT? India so far has not signed the NPT because we find it to be a very discriminatory treaty. Why is it discriminatory? Because उसने world को haves और have-nots में divide किया है. Haves और have-nots मतलब ones who have nuclear power and the ones who had achieved this nuclear power before an arbitrary date of 1967, और उसके बाद हैव नॉट्स हैं जिनके पास अगर न्यूक्लियर पावर है भी तो भी हम उनको कंसिडर नहीं करेंगे. तो ये बहुत अनफेयर लगता है हमें, which is why we've said that it has divided the world into haves and have-nots. Haves and have-nots. And it recognizes only 5 nuclear weapon states based on an arbitrary cutoff date of 1967. What does India advocate? Universal, non-discriminatory nuclear disarmament and equal security for all states, because nuclear power is essential for our national security. Along with Israel, Pakistan, India remains outside NPT. और कौन नहीं है NPT में? Israel नहीं है, पाकिस्तान नहीं है, और 2003 में नॉर्थ कोरिया ने भी उससे बाहर आ गए थे. India is acknowledged as a de facto nuclear weapon state. De facto मतलब in fact, because असल में है तो सही ना हमारे पास nuclear weapons, तो we are recognized as a de facto nuclear weapon state. Despite its non-membership, India has engaged in the global non-proliferation regime through हम separate civilian और military facilities अलग maintain करते हैं. जो हमारी civilian facilities हैं वो regulated होती हैं IAEA के द्वारा, और उन civilian facilities के लिए we can import certain uranium for energy production. However, जो हमारी military और defense capabilities हैं, जो हमारी military facilities हैं, उनको IAEA और global community recognize नहीं करती है, और we have the acceptance of IAEA safeguards on our civilian facilities. Coming to India's nuclear policy, which is a very important topic, um, our nuclear policy is framed in different milestones we can see over here. So, the first milestone is of 1974. क्या हुआ था 1974 में? Smiling Buddha हुआ था, Pokhran 1, and and we became the first nation apart from the P5 nations to have to conduct our own nuclear test. Then came 1998, where we conducted a series of nuclear tests in Pokhran again, which was Pokhran 2, which is what we call Operation Shakti, which was later followed by global sanctions on us because we had tested our nuclear, we had used a series of nuclear tests. है ना? Why were there sanctions? Of course, as I've mentioned earlier, America wants to maintain the monopoly और किसी के पास नहीं जाना चाहिए न्यूक्लियर वेपन, हमारे पास भले ही कितने भी हो. हमने देखा है कि 90% न्यूक्लियर वेपन्स बिलोंग टू रशिया एंड अमेरिका. The 1998 also laid foundation of our nuclear doctrine, and we were then recognized as a responsible nuclear power. सिर्फ nuclear power recognize होना is not enough. We need to be recognized as a responsible nuclear power, and only then will international bodies engage with us in terms of nuclear technology exchange. क्योंकि अगर हम viewed हैं कि हम responsible नहीं हैं, right? If we are viewed as an irresponsible nuclear power, it's like giving nuclear warheads in the hands of a tiny baby जो responsible नहीं है, कभी भी कहीं भी चला देगा nuclear weapon. अगर ऐसी image हमारी होगी तो it's very difficult for us to be at dialogue with agencies like IAEA. We also have a pact with USA where we do technology transfer for civilian facilities. Then there was the 1999 milestone जहाँ हमने नेशनल सिक्योरिटी एडवाइजरी बोर्ड बनाया है, हमने ड्राफ्ट न्यूक्लियर डॉक्ट्रिन बनाई, एंड फाइनली 2003 में हमने हमारी ऑफिशियल न्यूक्लियर डॉक्ट्रिन रिलीज की. हमें क्या बैलेंस करना है? हमें एनर्जी सिक्योरिटी और क्लीन पावर जनरेशन के साथ साथ हमें रिस्क्स ऑफ न्यूक्लियर एक्सीडेंट्स एंड टेक्नोलॉजी मिसयूज मैनेज करना है. किस टाइप का न्यूक्लियर एक्सीडेंट हमें मैनेज करना है? समथिंग दैट हैपेंड इन शर्नोबिल इन erstwhile USSR, और टेक्नोलॉजी मिसयूज के क्या होता है कि टेक्नोलॉजी मिसयूज के गार्ड में a lot of times you can be attacked. For example, that's what happened to Saddam Hussein, where it was said that he has weapons of mass destruction and the US invaded Iraq, कि वो weapons of mass destruction किसी और के हाथ में ना पड़ जाए और उसका मिसयूज ना हो जाए. That is why टेक्नोलॉजी के मिसयूज को रोकने की जिम्मेदारी किसकी है? हमारी है. So, as we've seen different stages of our nuclear energy policy evolution, the first stage is from the 1940s to 1974, which was initiated by Homi Jahangir Baba. इनने TIFR, Tata Institute of Fundamental Research सेटअप किया, Atomic Energy Commission सेटअप किया, और DAE, Department of Atomic Energy Commission सेटअप किया. The BARC was also established, which is for the advanced research in nuclear tech. Discovery of uranium deposits and early international cooperation से हमने तारापुर reactor setup किया. उसके बाद क्या हुआ? We refused to sign the NPT in 1970, citing that it's discriminatory, and 74 में हमने Pokhran 1 test किया. What is the significance of nuclear energy? We can secure energy security through it, sustainable future, economic growth with 5% of our entire energy production can be when it's attributed to nuclear energy by 2031. Then there are medical advancements, जैसे BRC में रेडियो फार्मास्यूटिकल्स के थ्रू कैंसर ट्रीटमेंट होता है, मेडिकल रेडियो आइसोटोप्स यूज होते हैं फॉर कैंसर ट्रीटमेंट. वी ऑल्सो हैव क्लीन एनर्जी बिकॉज लो कार्बन एमिशन होता है इस एनर्जी प्रोडक्शन में. Then we have defense, of course, the most important use of nuclear energy. And then we have space exploration, जहां इस energy के through we can engage in different space exploration projects. Then we have the active phase and the strategic consolidation phase of 1974 to 1998. 1968 में NSG बनने के बाद we started working on our own expanding our nuclear energy facilities. तो हमने सिविलियन न्यूक्लियर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के लिए NPCIL बनाया, न्यूक्लियर पावर कॉर्पोरेशन ऑफ इंडिया. इस कॉर्पोरेशन के थ्रू we did power production, research in nuclear energy. Then there was confidence building pact with Pakistan. कैसे हुआ? क्या होता है कि it's an annual exercise where India and Pakistan disclose their nuclear civilian facilities to each other. क्यों हमने ये disclosure हम करते हैं? Because this started as a practice of trust building between the two nations and both the countries. Abhi recently, I think, in the month of January 2026, both the countries have shared the updated list, the current list as per their agreement. Then in 1998, we had Pokhran 2, as I said, which was followed by economic sanctions, but we managed to get through that. As you can see, this is Pokhran 2, Mission Shakti, and we emerged as a declared nuclear power despite international sanctions. आप देख सकते हैं, this is the site जहां हमने हमारा टेस्टिंग किया था. ओके, इंडिया की पॉलिसी क्या है? फर्स्ट, नो फर्स्ट यूज. हम सबसे पहले हमारी पॉलिसी है कि वी विल नॉट यूज न्यूक्लियर पावर इन द फर्स्ट इंस्टेंस. चलिए, नो फर्स्ट यूज तो हो गया. व्हाट्स द सेकंड थिंग? रिटेलिएशन ओनली एंड लास्ट रिजॉर्ट यूज. हम सबसे पहले तो यूज करेंगे नहीं. वील आइदर यूज इट इन रिटेलिएशन और एज अ लास्ट रिजॉर्ट इन एनी कॉन्फ्लिक्ट. एंड फाइनली, commitment to global nuclear disarmament, right? In 2016, we built the INS Arihant, where our three-stage nuclear program using uranium, plutonium, and thorium. INS Arihant is the nuclear warhead submarine of India, which was developed in 2016. The current nuclear power plant that we have in India, we have the Rajasthan Atomic Power Plant, we have the Kakrapar Atomic Power Plant, which is in Gujarat. We have Tarapur, which is in Maharashtra. Kega, which is in Karnataka. Madras mein we have Kundakulam and Madras Atomic Power Plant in Tamil Nadu. And then in UP we have Narora. These are the atomic energy power plants that we have, nuclear power plants that we have, which are civilian facilities that we use for nuclear energy production. This is the image of the Tarapur Atomic Power Station. What have been the challenges that India is facing so far? Well, so far, our project implementation is very slow. Why is it slow? It's slow because of bureaucracy, red tapeism, corruption, very huge investment. That's why हमारा project का implementation state बहुत slow हो जाता है. Uranium supply constraints. इंडिया के पास लिमिटेड डोमेस्टिक यूरेनियम प्रोडक्शन होता है. ग्लोबल आउटपुट का 1 to 2% से हम यूरेनियम प्रोड्यूस करते हैं. इसकी वजह से वी हैव अ डिपेंडेंस ऑन इंपोर्ट्स. हाउ डू वी इंपोर्ट? वी इंपोर्ट यूरेनियम फॉर सिविलियन फैसिलिटीज थ्रू IAEA safeguard compliance. Finally, we have thorium program bottlenecks. Thorium क्या होता है? Thorium is also a nuclear substance, a radioactive substance, जो इंडिया के केरला, तमिलनाडु और ओडिशा, इनमें मोनाजाइट सैंड में मिलता है. मोनाजाइट सैंड के थ्रू हम थोरियम एक्सट्रैक्ट कर सकते हैं एंड वी कैन यूज इट फॉर आवर डोमेस्टिक एनर्जी कंजम्पशन. What are the other constraints that we face? Of course, there is the financial and investment constraints. Nuclear power जो है, it's a very high capital industry and it also has a very long gestation period. Long gestation period क्या होता है? लंबा टाइम निकलता है उसको मेच्योर होने में, till it takes a lot of time, जब तक वो आपको profits देना शुरू करता है. And it's very difficult to invest in places where gestation period is very long. So only a very strong financial backup can give us a very strong nuclear facilities. Safety perceptions and public resistance. क्या होता है कि after the Chernobyl disaster, after the Bhopal gas tragedy, we have as people always been skeptical of nuclear power, because what if there is negligence, जो कि होती ही है negligence, and what if that leads to another disaster? So what needs to be done in this case? Very strong frameworks need to be developed, strong regulatory mechanisms have to be developed, so that लोगों के मन में जो डर है न्यूक्लियर सेफ्टी को लेके, वो डर हम निकाल सकें. Then there's the problem of waste management challenges. We don't have a centralized long-term waste disposition mechanism set up in India. However, the amount of waste generated in nuclear in production of nuclear energy is often very much overestimated. So once India has a centralized long-term waste disposition plan and program in place, I think most of these challenges can be figured out. Coming to our next topic, which is Shantiville. What does Shantiville stands for? It stands for Sustainable Harnessing and Advancement of Nuclear Energy for Transforming India 2025, which was introduced in Lok Sabha very recently to reform India's nuclear energy framework. क्या क्या चेंजेस शांतिबिल लाया है, यहाँ से देखिए, थोड़ा इजी है समझने को. कोर ऑब्जेक्टिव्स क्या है कि 100 गीगावाट न्यूक्लियर कैपेसिटी हमको 2047 तक अचीव करनी है. प्राइवेट सेक्टर पार्टिसिपेशन होगा और एनर्जी सिक्योरिटी एंड नेट जीरो बाय 2070. की प्रोविजंस चेंज क्या हुए हैं? स्टेट मोनोपोली थी पहले, ओनली एनपीसीआईएल कर सकती थी पार्टिसिपेट इसमें. नाउ प्राइवेट and foreign participation is allowed, but only by 49%, that too through equity. Okay, only 49%, that too through equity, and 51% would be in the hands of the state still. Then there is the operator liability only, मतलब supplier की जो liability होती थी पहले while supplying uranium in terms of any accidents or anything that occurs in future, that has been changed to only operator liability. पहले फॉरेन इन्वेस्टमेंट्स बिल्कुल अलाउड नहीं थे, अब जो है फॉरेन पार्टनरशिप्स अलाउड है. पहले दो एक्ट्स चलते थे जो रेगुलेट करते थे न्यूक्लियर पावर इंडिया में, एटॉमिक एनर्जी एक्ट ऑफ 1962 एंड दी CLNDA ऑफ 2010, जिसको अब हम यूनिफाइड लीगल फ्रेमवर्क में ला रहे हैं, एंड विल बी promoting SMR, which we will be seeing in the next slide. The SMR is the small modular reactors जो indigenously produce होंगे. क्यों है need for reform? We have ambitious expansion targets. We need to achieve net zero very soon. हमें 22 gigawatts की energy capacity utilize करनी है by 2032. Total we have 32 gigawatts. Execution and project delays are very frequent in setting up of these power plants. Then we have technology and innovation imperatives. We need to adopt, as we'll be focusing on SMR, which is the small modular reactors, which will be developed indigenously by India. Fuel and supply chain vulnerabilities. There are a lot of fuel and supply chain vulnerabilities. Matlab, we have weak domestic uranium production. As we've seen, India has only 1 to 2% of uranium production globally. इसीलिए we are dependent on uranium that's supplied to us from outside factors, and that is as well is regulated by the IAEA. So we are virtually dependent on others for our nuclear energy production. Then, as we've seen, we haven't quite yet cracked the technology to extract thorium from our monazite deposits that we have domestically available. Then we have energy security and climate committees. Because why do we need to reform? Because nuclear power provides a stable, low carbon baseload energy supporting grid stability, renewable integration and net zero 2070 goals. ये हमारे goals हैं. By 2070 we have to achieve net zero emissions in terms of carbon emissions, और nuclear energy will help us reach over there. क्या है ये? Nuclear power provides a stable source of energy. Solar energy, no, you can't store it, not available at nights. Wind energy, highly dependent on the wind flows and different exigent factors. But nuclear energy can be regulated by us, can be trusted as to when and how much we need to produce it. So that is why it's also a low carbon baseload energy as against our traditional energy sources like crude oil, coal, etc. And it supports grid stability and it's renewable. स्ट्रक्चरल चेंजेस क्या हुए हैं हमने ये देख लिया है कि एनपीसीआईएल की जो मोनोपोली एट प्रेजेंट है न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी पे वो खत्म हो जाएगी बिकॉज विल बी अलाउइंग प्राइवेट एंटिटीज टू बिल्ड देयर ओन एंड ऑपरेट nuclear power plants, and we'll be retaining control over strategic areas like fuel, heavy water and waste management. We will be retaining control. We as in the state will be retaining control over that. Then we have the Atomic Energy Regulatory Board or the AERB. उससे क्या होगा? Which will be accountable to who? It will be accountable to the Parliament of India. And it removes supply liability as we've seen, and operator liability based on plant capacity. So each plant will have different levels of liability as it will fall on the operator of the plant. What are the concerns and what's the way forward in this? Concerns are dilute ना हो जाए liability, मतलब accountability से लोग escape ना कर दें, regulations को surpass ना कर दें, circumvent ना कर दें in relaxations के चलते. That is one of the concerns that we have from the Shanti Bill. Then we have risk of socializing accident costs while privatizing profits. हम प्राइवेट लेवल प्रॉफिट्स लेके जा रहे हैं लेकिन एक्सीडेंटल कॉस्ट पे वो प्रॉफिट्स नहीं वहां जाने चाहिए, बिकॉज अगर हम प्राइवेट सेक्टर के लिए ओपन अप कर रहे हैं हमारी न्यूक्लियर सेक्टर, न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी सेक्टर, so it should not be at the cost of negligence that might cause accidents. Public trust issues due to past industrial disasters. क्या industrial disaster हो चुके हैं? We have in our memory. We have the Bhopal gas tragedy, we have the Chernobyl disaster that are still in our memories, our collective psyche, that we need to surpass now, and we need to gain the public trust. और उनको हमें दिखाना है कि देखिए regulations इतनी stringent और इतनी ज़्यादा well functioning होगी कि the chances of such disasters occurring will be reduced to a great extent. Rationale क्या है? हम देख चुके हैं क्यों करना चाहते हैं, क्योंकि हमें 100 गीगावाट्स प्रोड्यूस करना है 2047 तक. फाइनेंसिंग गैप एंड प्रोजेक्ट डिलेज जो है एनपीसीआईएल ओनली मॉडल में, उसको जब हम प्राइवेटाइज करेंगे तो फाइनेंसिंग गैप्स कम हो जाएंगे क्योंकि प्राइवेट प्लेयर्स आने लगेंगे इसके अंदर. एंड इनोवेशन, एसएमआर, क्लाइमेट रेजिलिएंट बेसलोड पावर भी इंक्रीज होने लगेगा, इसमें भी फंडिंग आने लगेगी हमें प्राइवेट प्लेयर्स से. हमें क्या करना है? स्ट्रेंथन करना है रेगुलेटरी इंडिपेंडेंस एंड सेफ्टी ओवरसाइट को. पीरियोडिक रिव्यूज होने चाहिए लायबिलिटीज के. एंड फाइनली ट्रांसपेरेंसी को एनहांस करना है, इमरजेंसी प्रिपेयर्डनेस होनी चाहिए, और वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट फ्रेमवर्क हमें वी नीड टू गेट ऑल ऑफ दिस इन प्लेस. सो this was the nuclear suppliers group, the IAEA, India's nuclear energy policy, and the new Shanti bill that has been introduced. These topics carry a lot of weightage because it's a part of current affairs, and as we all know, current affairs are always connected to our static portion, and international organizations like IAEA and NSG are a very important part of international organization groupings. यहाँ से questions आ सकते हैं. So I hope you understood these topics, and I hope you had fun studying these topics. Well, I'll see you next time, and we'll be covering next topic.